healthy home supports your health, in my opinion, from the air you're breathing, the materials around you. It's designed to promote your health, and it prioritizes good air quality, um, has items that are made from non-toxic materials, and you can actively reduce toxins when you have practices that support a healthy home. So all that is also going to be good for the environment typically.
Hello, everyone. I am Izumi Tanaka with Home Green Homes podcast. Today, I have Karen Bloom from Santa Barbara. She is a founder and owner of Natural Haven, and she's also a consumer protection attorney. And I am here to talk about what makes a home healthy. So, Karen, first of all, thank you so much for being here today with me. I really appreciate your time, and I'm honored to have you. And of course, I would love to hear your backstory. But it's our conversation is about making healthy homes. But I would love to hear your backstory. So tell me about your background and then how you became an expert of healthy homes.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to speak with you. So I'm very happy to be having this conversation. And yeah, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I started off as a consumer protection attorney in a law firm in DC. I was doing class action litigation, and I mostly fought against companies that were failing to warn consumers about the dangers of the chemicals that were in their
Mm.
products. And I was pushing for more responsible manufacturing. So some of the cases I did um, were a big case of mine was litigating against DuPont for
Mm.
not telling consumers about the dangers of Teflon in their nonstick cookware. And I had cases against baby bottle manufacturers for the
Mm.
BPA in baby
Mm.
bottles and baby bottle formula manufacturers because the cans were lined with BPA as well. And BPA is bisphenol A. And then I did a lot of tobacco litigation, um, and just was working on creating transparency in the marketplace and having more responsibility for what the general public is being sold as safe and healthy to bring in your home. And then um, my career came to a halt. I came down with a mysterious illness. I could not work. I was disabled. I could barely walk. I had chronic pain, brain fog, fatigue, and it took many years to figure out what was going on. But I was diagnosed with Lyme disease and mold toxicity and a couple of other things, including something called complex regional pain syndrome. And basically, my body was overwhelmed with the biotoxins from Lyme, mycotoxins from mold, and was just struggling to detoxify the everyday toxins that I was coming into contact with. So I also developed a symptom of being highly sensitive to chemicals, synthetics, phrases. I would just get super flared up. And that's typical for people who have mold or Lyme disease. And also with all the mycotoxin, the biotoxins and everything, my body just really shut down and it met its limit and just needed a complete reset and to calm down my nervous system. So I worked for many years doing that and rebuilding my health. And one of the ways to do that was to expose my body to as low of a toxic load as possible to keep my inflammation down. And so I'd already been living a pretty clean lifestyle, knowing what I knew from the work I was doing, but it then was even more of a priority. And I then became inspired when I got my health back, and it is back, and I'm so proud and grateful. And it was a lot of work, and I just want to help people who have been where I was and use the knowledge that I gained to help them create non-toxic, living spaces, and also for people who want to be more health conscious or might have a new baby or kids and or they're elderly and they just are going to have a tougher time detoxing the toxins that we're coming into contact with every day. They're
Every
everywhere.
day,
So
yes,
yeah.
indeed. Yeah.
That's my
Well,
story in a nutshell.
oh, thank you so much, Karen. And as you know, as I mentioned to you when we first spoke to each other, I have few other people on my podcast who have had similar experiences. And, you know, I cannot imagine how frustrating it was and probably very frightening for you to have gone through that. And fortunately, those of you who have gone through this kind of experiences are finding the way to remedy the life that was causing you all this trouble. And so, as you know, my podcast is called Home Green Homes, and I am a green realtor, supposedly, specializing in green homes. But as I've done this over the last 7 years, I have become keenly aware of the, I'm going to say difference, but not quite. I mean, there's what we consider green home is not necessarily healthy homes, and there's a lot of overlaps. Obviously, the building materials and the indoor air quality and such, will create healthier homes. But I think for people like yourself, it's not just about environmentally better items or materials in our home. So if you could speak a little bit about how you defined a healthy home. It's not
Sure.
synonymous to green homes.
Right. No, there is some alignment, that also some conflict. So I'd love
Exactly.
to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
A healthy home supports your health, in my opinion, from the air you're breathing, the materials around you. It's designed to promote your health, and it prioritizes good air quality, um, has items that are made from non-toxic materials, and you can actively reduce toxins when you have practices that support a healthy home. So all that is also going to be good for the environment typically.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you're going to buy a mattress, and if you buy a mainstream memory foam mattress, that's going to have flame retardants and be off-gassing VOCs,
Mm-hmm.
and in its production and disposal, it's going to have chemicals that are ultimately going to leach into soil and water. So it's harmful to your health if you're sleeping on it and breathing
Right.
that in.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's going to harm the ecosystem. So purchasing a non-toxic mattress that's made of, say, organic cotton, natural latex, wool, that means less harmful chemicals for you and less harmful chemicals for the environment. So
Mm-hmm.
win-win.
Mm-hmm.
And I can, like, another example would be conventional cleaning products.
Mm-hmm.
They have harsh chemicals, and you're polluting the water system as it goes
Mm-hmm.
down your sink drain, and then wildlife, because they're drinking that. And if we use natural cleaning products, then you're helping preserve the environment. So
Mm-hmm.
again, alignment. And I'll just one more quick example, like using plastic containers that are going to be around for hundreds of years and don't break down
Right.
centuries, and have BPA and
Mm-hmm.
phthalates, to name a few. So if you're switching instead and using glass and stainless steel, then that's much more sustainable. So here's
Mm-hmm.
where the conflict comes in. And I am sad to say this because I have been a champion of environmental preservation for many, many years,
Mm-hmm.
even as a teenager. This is a passion of mine. So when it is in conflict, I'm in conflict. So I want to talk first about EMFs,
Mm-hmm.
and give a little background on what that is. So EMF stands for electromagnetic field, and it's an invisible energy created by electronic devices. So power lines and even our cell phones and
Mm-hmm.
Wi-Fi. And it's surrounding us with all these things that we're using. So they're in smart meters, and Wi-Fi enabled appliances, and these are like green tech devices that might be helping you conserve power, which is wonderful. But EMFs can disrupt the body's natural bioelectric processes
Mm-hmm.
and have their studies linking it to cancer, neurological disorders, immune system disruption, and sleep disruption, change, interfering with circadian rhythms.
Right.
So take electric cars, they have EMF radiating from their batteries, the chargers on the wall, the electric circuits. As I mentioned, became very sensitive to chemicals
Mm.
from Lyme mold. This is typical. I became sensitive to EMFs.
Mm.
So I I can't sit in an electric car. I my phone, when I hold my phone, it can actually burn my hand starts burning. I am just
Mm.
super sensitive to it. I have Ethernet cables in my house. I don't use Wi-Fi. I don't use Bluetooth. I get, like a little disoriented and dizzy. And so I'm um highly sensitive individual, but I think of myself as like a canary in the coal mine, that if I'm sensing this, then other people are being exposed to something they're not aware of and will have long-term effects.
Mhm.
And some people might not bother at all, but I do think that we're going to find, especially in the next couple decades, that all of the AMFs surrounding us are
Mhm.
impacting our health. So
Mhm.
again, so green technology has EMFs and solar panels as well, which are wonderful for reducing energy costs and dependent on fossil fuels.
Mhm.
But then we're still away from having green technology that also does not imperil our health. I'd also like to talk about LEDs for a second.
Mhm.
So the blue light that LEDs emit disrupts
Mhm.
circadian rhythm,
Mhm.
and not just for humans, but for animals as well. So blue lights in street lamps, for example, have been shown, studies have been showing it's affecting wildlife and their sleeping and their mating habits, but also our health. And I, again, am pretty sensitive to blue light, and I would love to be able to use LEDs, um, but I cannot. So all of this is to say we need to create technology that does both,
Mhm. Mhm. I
protects
agree.
the environment, and is also safe for our health and safe to have in our home. And I
Yeah.
think we can do it. I
Mhm.
just also think everyone has been very excited about, oh, good, it can do this, but without thinking about the ramifications for our health as well.
I 100% agree with you. And so you have founded a natural haven, which is your business now. So we can talk about the solutions, and can you tell me what you as Karen Bloom, a founder of Natural Haven, what kind of solutions do you offer? And I am in so much conflict about the EMF as well myself. I don't think I am particularly sensitive to it because I drive an EV. I have had an EV for 6 years now, and I use Wi-Fi, I use Bluetooth, but I have always been wondering, okay, what is this doing? Because we can't see it, and especially if you live in the urban area, every neighbors you are living around, they all have Wi-Fi, and if you turn on the computer to see, to connect to your Wi-Fi signal, you see all the names of different networks around you, right? So that means that you're like
Exposing.
surrounded by, all those signals, and so, and as you said, it's been probably in the last 10 years or so that we've become so dependent on this technology, and we don't know what it's doing to our body, and probably within the next few decades there will be enough data to substantiate the harm that might be causing not only humans, like you said, animals, wildlife. Who knows, it could be affecting some plants as well. But as you say, I'm sure that there are science that are pushing this forward so that it's not as harmful as human, not as harm to human being or other sentient beings. But right now, with what we have available, what are the solutions that you can offer? Now, as you mentioned, things like furniture and like bedding or cleaning products. It's kind of easier to figure out, but maybe you can offer some more expert suggestions or opinions about some of the solutions.
Sure. Well, one of my first go-tos is having air purifiers and good quality air purifiers. A HEPA air purifier that has studies and backing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also using a high grade, like allergen level air filter in your HVAC unit. A lot of people just get that like super cheap one, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not really doing it. And when I'm switching out my air filter, there's a lot of dirt and dust in there. So
Mm-hmm.
I always have like a sense of accomplishment to switch that out. Like, I just know it's making a difference. And um, I really, our mattress, we're on that a third of our lifetime. And if you're getting, like I said, a mattress that is not purposely made with natural materials, it is most likely off-gassing
Mm-hmm.
formaldehyde, other VOCs while you're sleeping. And you're breathing that in. That is affecting your health because you're
Mm-hmm.
on that for hopefully 8 hours a night.
Yeah.
And so swapping that out, but also your couch is doing the same thing. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of um, a lot of furniture is off-gassing formaldehyde. If you have um, pressed or particle board or MDF wood furniture, it has formaldehyde adhesives that's holding it together.
Mm-hmm.
So switch things out for solid wood furniture that's made with formaldehyde-free adhesives. A lot of what I'm advocating for, trying to guide people to do, is going back to how things used to be made.
Mm-hmm.
What my grandmother used to clean her floor with, vinegar, having solid wood, even, honestly, Amish make wonderful furniture, that type of thing. We had it right. And then we switched to cheaper products and more easily made products, but they are not healthy for us to
Mm-hmm.
have around in our homes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some other swaps, a big one for me is nonstick cookware. People are still using this stuff, which boggles my mind. So
Mm-hmm.
it's time to ditch those pans. They're the forever chemicals, PFAS or PFOA, is what they're made of. And when you're heating them, are off gassing. They cause cancer, developmental issues, respiratory issues, and they also get very scratched up. So you're eating bits of PFOA
Mm-hmm.
food. And switching to stainless steel, cast iron, that's what I cook with, and it works just as well. Also, uh, when you're cooking, and let's say you have a gas stove, even if you don't have a gas stove, but you're cooking, you're releasing a lot of chemicals, but
Mm-hmm.
especially with a gas stove, which has like carbon monoxide as you're cooking, nitrogen
Right.
dioxide, even formaldehyde.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you want to use a ventilation fan, a hood over your stove, open some windows, turn on an air purifier, do all the above if you can. And that it's been shown that it can increase childhood asthma if you have
Mm-hmm.
a gas appliance in your home. And
Right.
in fact, as you probably know, California has phased out gas appliances in new construction for this
Yep.
reason.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and another good one is to switch out the plastic containers that you're using to store, your Tupperware to store your food to glass or stainless steel. My daughter's lunchbox is stainless
Mm-hmm.
steel. We use glass containers, and then they're not leaching chemicals into your food. And everything we're ingesting, everything we're breathing in, you're just supporting your health every time you make these switches.
Mm-hmm. Now, so we are talking in February, late February of 25. And a little over a month ago, we had this massive fires in California, in Los Angeles. And you and I are both not close enough, but we could still be affected. You know, we probably had some air coming our way, if not a lot, you know, who knows. And you're close to the ocean too. So there's a lot of stuff in the ocean. So I can't help but think about all the items we have in the house, you know, even if we have, you know, we have been selective about what we have in our homes, you know, look at all that, like the cleaning products, even if we're using natural products, most of the time they are in plastic container, you know. And a lot of like even like skincare items that I'm very particular about the stuff that I put on my face because my skin is sensitive, but a lot of them come in plastic containers. So do you have any suggestion or solutions that, I mean, you know, we don't want to think that our house is going to burn down at some point, but you know, and even without those wildfires that's we can't control, we may have some, you know, accidental fires in our homes and things can burn, you know. So if you consider that, is there any solutions that you can offer in terms of just to minimize the kind of toxic fume that can occur when something like that happens?
Well, of course, the LA fires were devastating. And then you also had on top of it the harmful toxins
Yeah.
that are generally released by wildfires. But,
Mm-hmm.
and also, as you were saying, because our furniture is filled with petroleum,
Yeah.
our electronics have all these, have lead and different
Mm-hmm.
minerals in them. And then those literally fueled the fires
Right.
and released the chemicals that have now settled into the soil and
Yeah.
contaminating the water system um, and the environment. So if it just is adding an extra layer, but it's also just bringing home
Mm-hmm.
that our homes are not safe, and we're sitting on matches. So I would say I, I do want to address your point. My cleaning products are in glass bottles.
Mm-hmm.
I make my own cleaning products very simply. We're talking vinegar. I use baking soda, I use Castile soap, hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, these very simple things. It does not take me long to mix them up, and they're in
Mm-hmm.
glass bottles. But you are right. A lot of personal care products not have parabens and
Mm-hmm.
phthalates in them, and then
Yeah.
finding one that's not in a plastic bottle is hard. I do have some of my go-tos, like my shampoo comes in a stainless steel or
Mm-hmm.
aluminum
Mm-hmm.
bottle. So there are some alternatives, and more are coming out on the market
Yeah.
because this is an issue. Um, and then I would just say keeping your indoor air quality as a priority in your home and using an air purifier all the time and making sure that you're doing all the tips that we talked about, but then also being cognizant of what you're bringing into your home. And with every purchasing decision that we're making a decision about what we're exposing to, and again, what the environment is
Yeah.
being exposed to.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we do have opportunities every time to support our health and our environment.
I agree. Every time I run out of something and get something new, I have been switching from anything that has plastic container to, you know, non-plastic shampoos and such, or even dental floss. But do you
Okay.
offer,
I would
excuse me?
just add, um, in my community, there are two bulk stores,
Mm-hmm.
bulk purchasing stores. They're
Mm-hmm.
throughout the country.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have situations like that. So you can always go to those places and not deal with plastic containers.
Yeah.
And our in Santa Barbara, they have glass bottles that you can collect or give to them to use, or
Uh-huh.
you the take or give
Right.
situations. even need to have your own. You can use what
Yeah.
they have there.
Yeah, there's just not enough of them yet. I have one that I go to get my dish soap and laundry detergent and things like that. But it's kind of far from where I am, so it's not quite convenient yet. But
Right.
it's all coming. It's all coming. But do you offer tips like that to your clients or customers, like how to make a cleaning solution, or how to put together I don't know, maybe laundry detergent or something?
Yes,
Do you have that?
I absolutely do
Mm-hmm.
provide lifestyle tips in addition to the product swaps.
Mm-hmm.
So I can talk a little bit about Natural Haven.
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay, so I offer in-home or virtual consultations, and I go to a client's home, or we will talk over the computer and look at the products that they have in their home, do an assessment. I can go room by room, or I can do
Mm-hmm.
the whole house, and really look at what you have, what might be problematic, what might be contributing to some poor health, and
Mm-hmm.
then I give recommendations and a report
Mm-hmm.
of here are some options, because it can be really hard to find good products that aren't being greenwashed, that you can trust, that are legitimate. And every time you go to purchase something, it's a full-time job to
Yeah.
research it all. So that's why I'm like, well, I can just do it for you. I've already done
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So absolutely. And I have, the non-toxic living tips as well. And I have a
Mm-hmm.
lot I put on my website and on Instagram too. So you can always check those out. And I actually have, now that you're mentioning it, I have a couple of free guides on my website
Okay.
that you can download of how to reduce toxins in your home. And then also, I do a lot around creating non-toxic nurseries. So I have a free guide to download there, and just different ways to help not expose your little ones to all that might be lurking in
Mm-hmm.
all the baby products, because unbelievably so, these things are marketed as safe for children when they are.
Yeah, yeah, it's very surprising. So this is a perfect timing for you to tell us how to find you and your website.
Great. I will tell you and then spell it out. So it's naturalhavensb.com, NaturalHavenSB, so S as in Sam, B as in Barbara, dot
Uh-huh.
com. And Instagram is at naturalhavensb as well.
Okay, sounds good. So I will definitely put that in my show note.
One
And
more thing, I also offer a free 15-minute discovery call if you want to just give have a discussion about how I can help or have some questions. I'm happy to chat.
yeah, that's perfect. I think that's very generous of you to have that. I have one more question though. I want to go back to EMF.
Mhm.
Um, what are some of the solutions that you offer or you suggest for people who might be sensitive to EMF, or even people who may not feel that sensitivity, but wondering, like myself, what can I do to protect myself?
Well, since we've been talking about babies recently, I'll mention this one first, because it's a common mistake everyone is making now with these video baby monitors. They are perching them right on top of the crib, and it is blasting EMFs, and it can
Oh,
disrupt your child's sleep habits. It is just not something that you want to have near their head. And so move that across the room. Really, ideally, switch from those monitors and have an analog one if you really need to have a baby monitor.
mm,
I would say definitely not keeping your phone by your head or power cords by your head while you're sleeping on your next to you on your night table. I never put my phone in my pocket. If I absolutely have to, I put it on sleep mode. I use sleep mode or airplane mode. Sorry, I use
mm,
airplane mode a lot.
hmm,
That will, solve the problem. And again, I mentioned I have Ethernet cables around my home.
hmm.
And so I don't have Wi-Fi. But if you do want to have Wi-Fi, turn it off at night. Nobody's using it. there are products out there where you can just have even a timer switch for that to happen.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There are some EMF professionals that can do a diagnostic or assess your home and tell you how to reduce
Mm-hmm.
EMFs around your home.
I
So that
see.
might be an option as well.
I see. Do you have anything that you can suggest for people to wear? As like I said, we're constantly, surrounded by those signals. Like, we're at home, we can control some of the things like not having Wi-Fi, turning off the router, whatever. But when we're going outside, we're exposed to all these other people's devices and EMFs. Like, do you have anything that you can recommend?
I really think that a lot of the products out there are not legitimate. I
Oh,
have
wow.
like an EMF shield on my phone, on my laptop case, things like that. I don't know that it actually works. There's so many products saying that they work. When I've tested them, that I have, so I don't have anything that I can recommend,
Oh,
unfortunately.
wow. Well, I'm so glad that you can tell me that. I'd rather you tell me that than just say, just go get this or get that, because it's easy to fall into that. But so thank you so much,
Mhm.
Karen. Well, thank you so much. This was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. And as I said, I will put your website address and your handle for Instagram in the show notes so people can find you. And I hope we can work together and do something. I would love to refer people, and you work with people who are not just in your local area, right? You can work,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes. I
yeah.
work virtually with people as well. Yeah.
So
I would
anywhere,
love,
basically.
I would love to work with you again too. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Karen, for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. And thank you, everybody, for listening in today. This was Izumi Tanaka with Home Green Homes Podcast. Until my next episode. Thank you so much. Well, thank